They ain't never held me down, they ain't never held me down. You ain't never seen my life, you can never take my life, you can never take my mind, you can never take my mind, you can never change my mind, you can never see my worth, you can never take me place out of the dirt, you can never take my earth, you can never see my light, you can never see my eyes, you don't look me in my eyes, you just look so deprived. You cannot take what's mine, you cannot take what's mine. Pick up these bags and get the story going. I don't have time to be lost in heroics. Nigga, why you hate yourself? What did I do? I just had a well-known smile back at high school. Full-fledged pharaoh in this bitch, but I don't got pharaoh like privilege. Due to my skin color, my pigment. See, y'all niggas still slaves, Willie Lynch shit. I don't have to retell the story, you know the truth. Is melanin a symbol of earth for an ego boost? Am I asking for me and you? Happiness as a path to...
In my view, this issue of oligarchy is the most important issue facing our country and the world. Oligarchy is a global phenomenon, and it is headquartered right here in the United States. The fact of the matter is, and we don't talk about it very much, but this is the reality, a small number of incredibly wealthy billionaires own and control much of the global economy, period. End of discussion. And increasingly, they own and control our government through a corrupt campaign finance system. Since 2020, 5 billion people all over the world have become poorer, while the world's 5 richest billionaires have more than doubled their fortunes at a rate of $14 million per hour. And listen to this. Elon Musk, the world's wealthiest man, has added 120 billion to his fortune just since election day. Got that? 120 billion since election day. While Jeff Bezos, number 2 guy, he only became $67 billion richer in the last month. Outrageously, the wealthiest people in the world are stashing up to 32 trillion in offshore tax havens like the Cayman Islands in order to avoid paying their fair share of taxes to governments all over the world. In other words, governments are underfunded, and these people stash trillions in tax havens. Meanwhile, the uber rich do spend money to protect their incredible wealth. They do it by buying influence, and increasingly by buying our elections. Just 150 billionaire families spent nearly $2 billion to buy our recent elections. Elon Musk alone spent at least $277 million to back Donald Trump. How's that? One guy, $277 million. And we saw the results of that investment working pretty good for him. The major defense contractors spent over $38 million this election cycle. And you know what? They're going to have $1 trillion military budget with enormous amounts of waste and fraud in it. This is not democracy. This is not one person, one vote. This is not all of us coming together to decide our future. This is oligarchy. My friends, what we are looking at here has nothing to do with democracy. What we are looking at here is oligarchy. There's not a whole lot of people in a nation of 340 million who have an unprecedented amount of wealth and power and have never, ever had it so good. That's one America. The other America, where the vast majority of our people live, consists of tens of millions of families who are struggling to put food on the table, pay their bills, and worry that their kids will have a lower standard of living than they do. In the first America, the uber wealthy buy $500 million yachts, $270 million mansions. They have private islands all to themselves. They got fleets of jets to take them all over the world. And occasionally, they take cool trips on rocket ships that blast off to the edge of outer space. A lot of fun. They also receive the best healthcare, money can buy, and they send their kids to the very best private schools and colleges in the world. In this America, the three wealthiest men, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg, own more wealth than the bottom half of our society. Three people own more wealth than the bottom half of our society. And their wealth is skyrocketing. Musk alone is now worth over $450 billion. And combined, these three men are now worth almost $1 trillion. In the other America, millions of Americans are struggling just to provide for the basic necessities of life. In this America, over 60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck. Millions work for starvation wages. 85 million are uninsured or underinsured. And over 60,000 die each year because they can't afford to go to a doctor on time. In other words, we are living in a nation today where a handful of billionaires have more money than they could spend in 1,000 lifetimes, while at the same time, millions are living in desperation, fear, and are struggling to survive. But let's be clear. Our country is not just experiencing an unprecedented level of income and wealth inequality. Today, the ruling elite have brought about a situation in which we now have more concentration of ownership than we have ever had before. In other words, a small number of giant corporations have enormous control over our economy in sector after sector: healthcare, agriculture, financial services, energy, transportation, you name it. A small number of giant conglomerates control what is produced and how much we as consumers pay for their products.
The problem of oligarchy is not a phenomenon, or rather it's not just